Score. Had to roll the dice at that point, I felt. We were gambling a wee bit with how much extra time was going to be played, so kind of had it in my head I was going to make that sub. And then if we didn't get in from that, make the next sub. Stevie May goes on, makes a run which opens up the channel for Bok. Chris and Bokovac, I think it was a similar goal against Falkirk. Chris down the line to Bok inside, but Stevie May doesn't make that run. The right centre back doesn't get tailed into that channel with Stevie, so Stevie makes a great run. We done that during the week in training about the penetrating runs from the 10 in that position, because Pitts had dropped back one. So we were a 4-2-3-1 to start the game. Changed it a little bit and kind of went 2-10s with Pitts and Mazo and Mac. There he sell as a single six. And then Mazo makes a great run, great finish, so Mazo has a big part in that goal. And then we were always going to roll the dice. I was swirling between a 3-5-2 and a 4-4-2 in all honesty. I felt if I'd went a 3-5-2 I'd maybe left myself a wee bit exposed in the wide areas, and that's kind of where they were strong in the wide areas, so we decided on going into kind of a 4-4-2 with Bok and Tetty up top, and we switched corner and Smithy, so you had a right and a left. On the right and the left side, they weren't inverted at that point. So we were trying to play around, trying to play through. We got a wee bit of success doing that, but I felt we were getting up the park, we were building the game, we were getting into their kind of final third, and it was much easier when you don't have to play around, you don't have to play through, and you've got a left and right footer that can bang in the box. And funnily enough, it comes for wee Mac as the six, puts the ball in and Tetty peels off and scores. So we got our just rewards at that point from the changes in the game, but the subs had a big impact in the game.
When you're two and a half time like that, Davey, how coolly composed do you need to give them a wee message?
I'm a lot more composed than what I probably used guys think I am, or what I've probably been in the past. That probably comes from a wee bit of wisdom, a wee bit of experience of previous relegation battles. It also comes off the back of going into change rooms in the positive positions, you're chasing for promotion, so you're winning games of football most weeks, so that also brings a wee bit of experience and wisdom with it also. And to be fair, we've got a quiet group, but modern day change rooms are quite quiet. I speak about this, we talk about, like he wasn't saying anything, he never dug him out, he never had him by the scruffy neck, and it doesn't happen because the players coming through academies now are coming through sterile environments where, does it help? I'm not sure it helps that changing room sometimes when you're looking for the leaders to dig their pals out to get kind of a wee bit of passion, desire. They actually were having a go at each other, which I was really happy with, so I let that happen, let that calm down. I went in, said my bit, told them we needed the next goal, which is, you don't need to be a coach to understand that one. That's plainly obvious. If you get the next goal, you've got a chance. Told them we're kind of going to make changes at certain stages, but this is what we need to do. Spoke about the negatives when you go in, because I thought the two goals were so bad. Defensively, really poor. Made a change at half time, which I think helped us defensively also. But the subs had a big impact in the game. No, not really, and I'll tell you why. So I've got teams in my head going into certain games and certain fixtures. What I'm learning very quickly, Premier League's harder than what it's ever been in terms of my time in the Premiership. I went and we were here against Aberdeen at home. I thought we were brilliant. We lose a game. I thought, you know what, I'm going to try and get a bit of continuity here. I'm going to try and get a wee bit of momentum, because there was still a lot of positivity after that result in terms of performance. And I put the same team out against Motherwell. And we lost the game. So I spoke to the group, and I do think modern day football, I don't think you can rely on 12, 13 players to get you through a season. We've got a big squad now, and the only way you're probably going to get the best out of that squad is by utilising the squad. So in my head, I knew kind of we've got a run of fixtures coming up, and I've got teams in my head. Obviously, you've got to perform, you've got to train well, and injuries. But I knew Bok's got real clever movement, Real clever movement. He's probably the best striker we've got at the club, but he's 36 years old. He might actually be 37 now. 37. But he's the best striker at the football club in terms of his movement, his finishing and his game understanding. So I thought it was important to get Bocco on the park today because I think his game management really helped us, and I thought he was very good in the game.
Does it encourage you then? You say about the subs, you've got a day today when you're talking about Stevie Ray, then Teddy Young, then Robbie Muirhead. You've got...
It's why you've got them, and Conor McClellan you could probably add in there as well. So it's, for me, it's probably previous seasons, that's what was missing from the group. We had a core 13, and then if they weren't performing to the levels we needed, we would really struggle with that group that relegation year. So I think we've got squad depth now, we've got squad quality. We're going to be bringing in, if you look at what probably January window, probably 75% of that recruitment is going to be focused on the offensive areas. Because for me, learning very quickly, and I think most clubs, most managers will tell you the same, the game changes at the top end. You can control as much of the game as you want, have as much possession in the game as you want, have as many shots as you possibly want, but see if you're missing that little bit of quality. The game changers at the top end of the park. That's the difference in the Premiership for me. You get away with it maybe slightly in the Championship. In the Premiership you don't get away with it. So most of the recruitment's going to be focused on the forward areas going into the January window. But we have got players. There's Andy Winter sits out of the squad today. There's another forward player that was in there. So there will be different personnel within different games, away from home, at home. Last year it was pretty easy to keep the continuity and keep the momentum in the group because of you were winning. We lost 5 games of football last year. We lost 5 games of football. So it was easy to do that. This year's totally different. We need to adapt to the Premiership very quickly, which I feel we're still doing, but at times today we were a wee bit naive.
Obviously Mo was disappointed to come off just frustration probably about the way the game was going, his own performance. Can you understand that? Or?
No. Never want that reaction for any player. Never. I understand players being disappointed, I understand players being frustrated. He's a young player, he'll learn from it, but that's unacceptable.
How big a part of the conditions were they? It was a classic game of 2 actually.
I think it caught us in the first half, to be honest. They got a heavy press on because they knew we couldn't really, if you couldn't play over the press today because of the conditions. So they managed to press really aggressive. They had the right centre back jumping out to our left winger, right back jumping up. So it was difficult to play through, and they actually get their second goal from their first goal, through being really aggressive in the press, and we don't execute it properly. And the shot, I can't remember, was it Congreve? Congreve had the shot that Jerome parries out and Dander scores. Hamilton, That's probably a bit of the wind behind that. I think from where he shoots normally, I'm not sure it's getting that speed in the ball. So actually Jerome's had to make a difficult save, which in other conditions I don't think that's a difficult save, but it became a difficult save in the conditions. So it played a part, but I still felt we had a lot of control in the first half, but found ourselves 2-0 down. Second half, we had more intensity, probably not feeling sorry for ourselves because I felt it was a wee bit of that in the first half. 2-0 down, feeling a wee bit sorry for ourselves. That wasn't there in the second half, and I think we controlled large portions of the game. We created a lot of opportunities in the game, we had a lot of shots in the game, and we should find ourselves a wee bit lucky managing to rescue the situation, because in the Premiership going two goals behind, it's a big hill you've got to climb at that point. But the boys, fair play to them, they went out and climbed it, and they were unlucky not to go and win the game.
I was about to say, if you got the equaliser maybe 5 minutes earlier, do you think you would have went on and won the game?
It's hard, it's all subjective, it's all hindsight, you don't really know. You could have lost that game 3-2 chasing the game. I don't know, but what I would say is we had a lot of control in the second half, a lot of box entries, a lot of shots, so another 4-5 minutes with 11 men probably would have helped. But I did think the clock got stopped a wee bit early, but on this occasion I was delighted because I had 10 men at that point. But if Gowser hadn't been sent off, I'd probably be sitting here moaning about the time it was added on, because I felt it was a lot of stoppages with the officials through the comms. I don't think their comms were working, and that kind of took 3-4 minutes alone.
Just what you were saying at half time there, going in and players were kind of having a go at themselves. Is that, no, you don't want that, but is that good to see?
You do. No, I see. They're doing it in the right way, not in a negative way, not in a physical violence way or an aggressive way. They're doing it, putting demands on one another. And over the years, I think it's something that's coming out the game, and I think it's coming out the game with the younger players that are coming through academy systems, because it's not encouraged. So that will to win, that competitive edge, you can only get that if you're coming through the system, and that's drilled into you. So to see the boys in the change room having a bit of a go at each other in a constructive way, no in a bad way, I was happy, because over the last, I've been at this football club 12 and a half years now. It is a kind of dying breed. It doesn't really happen because of the environments we've created within footballing structures. Younger players coming through, it's different now, and I speak about that all the time. But having that competitive edge, that will to win, that desire, and on the back of that, the one emotion that gets you all these things for me is aggression. To have that competitive edge, you've got to be aggressive, you've got to have that will to win. Sometimes that can be missing in the younger players that are coming through from academies and into senior football. So it was nice to hear them having a go at one another, because I always say it's never personal. Football, changing room, on the park, training, post-match, pre-match, it's never ever personal. But we've got to put demands on one another, because it's the only way you're going to grow as a group. It's the only way you're going to grow as an individual, when you take yourself out of the comfort zone. And I think some players coming through the system these days, they're in comfort zones.